This is One on One. We're pleased to be joined by our good friend Beverly Lynn, CEO, Programs for Parents, which is, tell folks.
Programs for Parents is a child care resource and referral agency here in Essex County, and we have sister agencies in every county in New Jersey. And we all do pretty much the same thing, is making sure that families have access to child care subsidies. They would come to our office, parents who are working or in school and needed child care, to find out whether they're eligible for child care subsidies, and those subsidies help pay the cost of child care.
So let's break this down a little bit. You've been part of our Right from the Start NJ series, our public awareness campaign. And by the way, go on our website right now. Get important information on that site, Right from the Start NJ. You see it on your screen. It's got articles, research, resources, and by the way, your organization is going to be tied to that as well. What do we mean by finding out about the child care subsidy? What is it? Why does it matter? And why wouldn't people somehow know about it?
Well, unfortunately, people have children and they're just not aware. They know at some point they need child care if they're working or in school, but they don't know how to go about looking for it.
What's the subsidy?
The child care subsidy is actually a dollar amount that they're eligible for if they meet the eligibility criteria. From the state of New Jersey. It's all funded by federal dollars.
So it's Washington, D.C. sends dollars to the state in the form of this thing called the Child Care Subsidy.
That's correct. It's called the Child Care Development Block Grant.
Say it again?
Child Care Development Block Grant.
It's a block of money.
Yes.
How does it get distributed?
It's distributed based on some allocations that the state makes. And of course, Essex is the largest county in the state. And so we probably get a higher proportion than other counties based on the income and some other demographic information. So we're serving about 10,000 children in Essex County.
How does it help? How does this subsidy, the child care subsidy, actually help a family and those children, birth to 3, get what they need?
Well, there are two parts to it. One is helping parents pay for child care. So wherever you go, you're going to have to pay unless you're going to a Head Start agency. And so when parents look at that cost, it could typically be anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000 a year.
Prohibitive.
Prohibitive. In fact, I think the higher level is probably in line with tuition for one of our universities.
Wow.
So unless you are doing pretty well financially, you really can't afford the full cost. And the subsidy helps to offset that. It does not pay for the full cost. Parents must pay a co-payment, meaning that there's a certain amount of that allocation that parents have to pay if they're working or in school. If they're at or below 100% of the federal poverty level, there is no co-pay. However, if you're above that level, then yes, you have to contribute.
The other part of this, Beverly, I'm curious about, and we've been a part of a variety of forums that talk about these issues, and you're part of our Right from the Start NJ family, and we can't thank you enough for that. But one of the issues that kept coming up in one of the forums is advice to parents on how to select, how to pick the appropriate child care facility for their individual 1, 2, 3-year-old. How do they do it?
Well, there are several options. One, if they call our agency, we will give them information about what to look for.
By the way, your agency will be listed on Right from the Start NJ, so go ahead, keep talking.
So we'll actually give you a checklist, questions to ask.
Such as?
Well, one of the questions is, although most centers are licensed, parents need to ask that question. Are you licensed?
Is your center licensed?
Is your center licensed? Where can I find out more information about your track record? So the child care center's records in terms of their licensing status is now online.
Is it public information?
Public information.
Someone says, well, listen, that's private. That's just not true.
That is not true. You can go online to Department of Children and Families and...
Excuse me, there is something called the New Jersey Department of, is it the office or department?
It's the Office of Licensing in the Department of Children and Families.
By the way, the Department of Children and Families, we're doing this program after Governor Murphy has become Governor Murphy. There is a new head of that particular agency dealing with families and children, if you will. That agency, that new member of the governor's administration will be highlighted and also be interviewed as part of this series Right from the Start. NJ, do you think it's very difficult Beverly, for parents who are dealing with a whole range of issues to understand the government agency, to go to the website? How do I find out this? Where do I get?
It can be very confusing, and a lot of times parents don't know where to go. So
what do they do?
They use their own judgment. They rely on their friends to tell them what to do. A lot of parents find out about us by word of mouth, although we're out telling people about the program and sharing information with families. They still don't know about it until it's time for there's a need for the services.
You know, one of the other issues that we didn't get a chance to talk about, well, we talked about a little bit in our forum, our Right from the Start NJ forum, but I want you to talk a little bit more about professional development for child care workers. What does it, you're talking about training?
That's what it is, training and...
What's required, what's needed?
Well, for infant toddler programs, there are no real requirements for classroom teachers. I have to say that preferably people are hiring high school, folks with high school diploma. Preferably.
Isn't it required?
A high school diploma is not required to work in the infant toddler classroom. Now, of course, if you meet some higher standard, Early Head Start, there are higher standards.
Because that's a federal program?
Because it's federally funded. For centers that are participating in Grow NJ Kids.
Grow NJ Kids, it'll be on our website. What's required there?
They are required to have a CDA, which is a Child Development Associate Credential. It's a credentialing program, but it's a national credentialing
Yeah, but you know, it's interesting. Beyond all this credentialing, if you will, what I'm curious about is, what are the skills, Beverly, what are the actual skills that a quality child care professional would need to help a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old? What do they need?
Well, they certainly have to have an understanding of child development. And I would even say a lot of information about brain development, because we talked earlier about brain development.
It's been a big part of the discussion. How would a child care professional know about brain development?
Because they would actually attend classes. Now, my agency also has a program called New Jersey First Steps.
New Jersey First Steps.
And that is a professional development program, and we also provide technical assistance in the northern region of the state. So we're covering Essex, Hudson, Passaic, Bergen, Morris, Sussex, and Warren counties. We have staff who are trained. They are infant toddler specialists. They are credentialed. They will go out to their a center or even a home provider and provide assistance, technical assistance, resources, information, and we also provide training. So our goal, our responsibility is to go into those programs and make sure they understand child development and brain development and understand what their role is in terms of building those positive relationships.
Beverly, I want to thank you for being part of the Right from the Start NJ public awareness campaign initiative, because you add so much and the work you do every day matters so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Investors Bank, Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, Guarini Institute for Government and Leadership at St. Peter's University, the Turrell Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, United Airlines, the Northward Center, and by New Jersey Sharing Network. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.